Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
British Spy Stories Season 5 Kill or Be Killed. Episode 20. The dawn light cuts across the woods, on the edge of the Frossard estate, as Laravelle opens her eyes in the camper van. She flicks a switch on the side panel of the vehicle, and the square section of the roof rises to form a full-sized shower, one of MI6 Tech Branch's improvements. To hide the top of the shower, holographic cameras project the woodland around the van and make the extension invisible to anyone passing by. After breakfast, Laravelle opens the communications desk and makes her daily trawl of the intelligence that GCHQ have been gathering from the cameras and listening devices in the chateau. The teams in Gloucestershire have supplemented the core data with traces of online activity within the house and transcripts of phone calls for anyone in the vicinity. She can see from the information that something is starting to happen. Over the last 3 days, the level of online activity has taken a step change upwards. The cameras have shown large numbers of people arriving in the chateau, and the phone call traffic has grown steadily. There are transcripts of discussions about a recruitment exercise that Rose has instigated to hire clerical staff, and some of the people have already arrived and are working in the basement offices. The frustrating thing is that, despite all of the tracking and monitoring equipment, the actual work remains unclear. GCHQ are of the opinion that Rose's team has wired in AI defense servers around the chateau's network, and they are bouncing all efforts to hack into the systems inside the basement. Laravelle needs more insights, and her mind rolls through the options she has. She goes back over the notes she has made during this operation, and she sees her report about meeting Sylvie. Maybe the commie chef can provide some insights from inside the house. Laravelle switches on the live trackers that she planted in the chateau, including a micro tracker that she attached to Sylvie on the night that she knocked her out. The tiny bug is inside the earring hole on the woman's left ear, as that's somewhere more likely to stay protected for the few weeks that MI6 needs it. The young woman usually comes out for a break between her shifts at some time in the morning, but the tracker shows that Sylvie is currently inside the house. Laravelle settles down to wait for some movement. By mid-morning, the marker on the screen starts to move into the gardens. And Laravelle slams out of the van to meet the woman in the woodland. "Hey," says Laravelle, as she turns a corner on the path and sees Sylvie by the edge of the trees. "You're not in uniform?" "I got a new job," says the girl. "The chef was a dick anyway, and this is better pay." "Are you leaving?" "I'm not going anywhere. The Comtesse wanted a load of people to work on a new project. I told them I was interested and got one of the jobs. It's in the house. In the basements, actually. But whatever. It's more pay." "What is the project?" "It's about computers. Something about a system called Seagrass. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but a load of software engineers arrived and are writing code to break into it. I don't care, really, as long as I'm getting the extra money." "Any jobs going? I could do with some work." "I can ask," says Sylvie. They talk on for a few minutes, then the woman has to go back to her work. Laravelle returns to the van and writes up her contact report with Sylvie. She starts to make some lunch when her MI6 phone gently buzzes on the table. The screen displays that this is a call from an unknown number, but it's on the MI6 network. She answers. "Agent Laravelle?" says the voice. "Can you give me today's security password, please?" It's not someone she knows. "Can you identify yourself?" she says. "I'm Bill Watts, a senior researcher at GCHQ. Call me back on video, Bill." Laravelle searches the Oberon system for his staff photograph. Within 10 seconds, an encrypted video call arrives. She answers it, and the man in the photo is there. And she gives today's password. "How can I help?" she says. "You put a report into Oberon 15 minutes ago, and you used the word seagrass in that report." "Yeah," she says. "The contact told me that name as a target for a potential online hacking operation by a known criminal organization." "Do you know what seagrass is?" "I never heard of it. What is it?" He turns his eyes to the screen on one side. "I can see that you're only cleared for information up to the level of secret. Is that right?" "And top secret for the operations I'm assigned to," she says indignantly. "Why?" "You're working with Agent Blackhawk, aren't you? On Operation Oak Hill. I'll have to talk to her first." Bill rings off, and Laravelle continues to make her lunch. By the time she finishes eating, her phone rings again, and this time it's Gabby. "Jenny, later today we're going to talk about a new development in the operation." "Okay, what is it?" "It'll have to wait until the briefing, I'm afraid," says Gabby. "Why all the mystery?" "All I can say is that I put in a request to Sir Bernard for you, Kate and Hans, to be raised to specific compartmented information, SCI, so I can tell you about something connected to Operation Oak Hill." "Shall I get Hans to come to the van later? And we can do a call?" "No, the van's not secure enough," says Gabby. "You'll need to go to the British consulate in Milan. It's 4 hours by road." After Laravelle messages Hans about the meeting, he arranges with MI6 London Control to call the Chateau and pretend to be his secretary with details of an urgent issue that has suddenly come up as part of his cover life as Clive Fremont. He makes sure that Rose is there to receive the message from her butler to pass on to Clive, so it all sounds as real as possible. The evening light is fading in a cobalt sky as Hans steers the Maserati Gran Turismo from the garages near the Chateau's gatehouse and out into the town square. He picks up Laravelle at the same junction as before, and they turn northeast. Then they turn south to the motorway that will eventually take them through the Frejus tunnel and into Italy. At just gone midnight, Hans pulls up outside the security gates of the British consulate in Milan. The ANPR reads his car license number plate, and the gates start their slow grind to let the vehicle inside the compound. The two spies are shown to a lift, and they're told they're expected in room 306 on the 3rd floor. It's a grey meeting room with standard chairs and a long table, procured by someone in Whitehall to fill every British consulate in Europe with identical furniture. There's a large pot of coffee and biscuits on the table, and they eat too many of them, as they're hungry from the journey. Laravelle looks out at the nearly deserted Via San Paolo below them, with its shops and restaurants closed until the morning. Then the sound of the door opening makes her turn, and she sees Gabby and Sir Bernard. "Hans, Laravelle, take a seat," says the senior man. "Thank you for coming." They all sit, and an air of expectation surrounds them. "I obtained emergency clearance for you from the JIC office." Sir Bernard refers to the support office of the Joint Intelligence Committee, the group of people who advise the British Prime Minister on military and security matters. "Your SCI cleared for what I'm about to tell you," he says. Sir Bernard pauses to get his thoughts in order. You were told, Laravelle, about something known as seagrass. After your contact report was received by GCHQ, they did a deep dive to verify whether that mention of seagrass was an unfortunate coincidence. They confirmed that was not the case, and in fact there has been considerable online traffic between Chateau Froissart and seagrass in the few hours since your report. Both Hans and Laravelle desperately want to ask the same question, but they wait, as they're certain Sir Bernard is just about to answer it without them asking. The seagrass array is a computer network. It has the strictest level of security of anything across the globe, because it's the NATO master system for Europe. All the intelligence, command routings, remote weapon control systems, security classifications and documentation are contained in the array. It's a complex network that constantly reroutes itself to prevent intrusion.
Do you think that Rose Froissart is trying to hack into the NATO master system, sir? Says Laravelle.
We do, Jennifer. What does this change about Operation Oakhill? Says Hans. Sir Bernard looks at Gabby, and she answers the question.
It changes everything, Hans. We'll still destroy Nox Ventura, including doing a robbery in Paris. But that's the final part of the Nox Ventura element of this operation. They'll be fundamentally damaged after that robbery. However, Rose Froissart has shown that she is involved with something far bigger. London is already planning how to respond, and I'm flying back with Sir Bernard to RAF Northolt in the morning to be part of that planning in London for the next 24 hours.
Will we still be involved? Says Hans, now that it's so big.
Sir Bernard says,
Gabrielle is leading this expanded operation, and she has selected both of you and Agent Coniston to be her core team. Gabby looks at Hans.
Until we know more, Gordon, you'll remain undercover as Clive Fremont. The Rose relationship is key. We want to catch her red-handed in the act of hacking. So, us knowing what's going on inside the chateau is critical.
Hans nods his head.
For you, Jenny, continues Gabby, you're not going back to the camper van. The Catharsis Recovery Service picked it up earlier this evening and are transporting it back to 10 in Brussels. Hans will drop you at Milan railway station in the morning when we leave. This is a ticket for Paris.
Gabby extracts a ticket from the file of papers in her hand.
Go to my apartment when you arrive, and I'll be back to brief you on the robbery. Then on the seagrass work.
Any more questions, either of you?
Says Sir Bernard, with finality. No one talks for a moment, and they all look at each other. There's a knock on the door, and a security guard pushes a large trolley into the room that's stacked with folders, photographs, and blueprints. These are the briefing documents on seagrass, says Gabby. We'll have to read it all in this room. Nothing can be taken away. We'll have to commit it to memory. She turns to the security guard. Can you ask the kitchens to bring up a meal for us, please, David? And more coffee.
Yes, Mum. I'll leave the three of you to read the papers, says Sir Bernard. I have a conversation with my counterpart in the CIA in 5 minutes to keep her across our progress.
He leaves, then closes the door behind him. Let's get on with it, says Gabby, and she starts to pass the documents around to the other spies.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Did my card go through?
Oh no.
Your small business depends on its internet, so switch to Verizon Business. And you could get LTE business internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data for unlimited business.
There we go.
Get the internet you need at the price you want. Verizon Business. Starting price for LTE business internet, 25 megabits per second unlimited data plan with select Verizon Business smartphone plan savings. Terms apply.
It has just gone 2 in the afternoon when Sabina turns the handle of the door to meeting room 5R2 inside the European Parliament and walks out with a bundle of files and papers cradled in the crook of her arm. She crosses one of the elevated walkways that hang between the inner and outer blocks, festooned with long plants to soften the steel and the dark wood interior. Mikhail is waiting in the restaurant on the first floor. She orders a double espresso, as she never has lunch. "You sounded worried when you left me that message earlier," she says. "I had a phone call. His face is serious. The Brussels police are thinking of investigating Eleanor Royce." "Good, I asked them to. Defamation is illegal in Belgium. She can't go around threatening to slander us." "What about the video?" "If she sends it out to anyone, or puts it on the internet, it will be proof of her defamation. Snap! Caught like a rat." Sabina smiles at him as a waitress delivers her coffee. "But the risk?" His face has shifted into concern. "Life's a risk, Mikhail. She won't do anything. She just needed to be confronted. These people think they can do whatever they like." "What if she doesn't?" he says. "Be a man, for God's sake. I can't risk it." His voice is growing in emotion. "We need to stop them." She looks at him. "You're panicking." Her voice is calm. "You're not a negotiator, are you?" "I'm not risking everything. I've spent all my life in politics. I can't throw it all away." She drinks some of her coffee while she mulls over what to say to him. "There is a way to stop her." Sabina can see him descend. From worry, through concern, to hope, in a matter of seconds. "How?" "We pay her," she says. "Eleanor Royce said she'd destroy the tape if we pay her." "How much?" 50,000. "I've got 20,000 in savings," says Mikhail. "Have you got anything?" Sabina shakes her head. "Can you borrow it? A second mortgage, maybe, on your house in Denmark. I only rent my place in Warsaw, so I've got no property to borrow against." He nods excitedly, seeing a way out of the darkness. "I can go to the police and tell them to stand down," says Mikhail. "I'll say it was all a misunderstanding. That would work, wouldn't it?" He looks into her eyes for more. "I know an inspector there," she says. "He's easily manipulated. I'll pay him a visit. But there's an urgency about all of this. Eleanor needs the cash in 36 hours. Is that possible?" She's started to pretend with him, she realizes, and that started 2 minutes ago. "Of course. My brother-in-law's a mortgage broker. I can phone him now." He stands up and is about to walk away when she says, "Mikhail, have you got your computer with you? I need to look something up." He bends down, picks up his laptop, and puts it on the table near her. He powers it up and logs in. "Don't leave it signed in. It has access to all my files." "I know, Mikhail. I have one too, remember?" She smiles to make her words seem like a joke. He walks off to use his mobile in the corridor outside, as the restaurant doesn't allow phones to be used at the tables. Sabina navigates to his documents folder. She searches for what she needs, finds it within a few seconds, and creates an email to a private email box that she uses in the cloud. She attaches a copy of the document, FCH 34-2.5, 5-year Danish Ministry of Defence contracts and military equipment specifications. Then she presses Send. She deletes the email from his outbox and the browser pages that she has looked at, before logging out. As she finishes and looks up, she can see Mikhail returning to the table. "Did you find what you wanted?" he says. "I didn't actually, but I can ask one of my researchers to sort it out." Her words don't matter, because he's not listening anyway. "I spoke to Mads. He can do that straight away. We've only got a small mortgage and our house has gone up in value, so 30,000 was easy." "What will you tell your wife?" "No idea. I'll think of something." "Mads won't say anything to her," says Mikhail. "What's important is the crisis has been averted." He puts his laptop back in his briefcase. "I need to go, Sabina. I've got a committee meeting." He leans over and kisses her cheek. "Thank you for sorting all this out," he says, and she smiles. After he leaves the restaurant, Sabina finishes her espresso, gathers her belongings and walks to the same place that Mikhail used to make his call 5 minutes ago. She dials a number and puts the device to her ear. "Miss Royce, it's Sabina Bosco. Have you thought about my offer?" says Eleanor down the line. "We have a deal, Miss Royce. I can get you the document for our agreed fee, on the condition that you destroy all the copies of the video. Can you guarantee that?" "I can." "I'll need proof of their destruction." "Naturally." "Good doing business with you, Eleanor." "And you, Sabina."